right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here for a special edition FUSION ECT Racing League. I got the head nod, hat tip, pitcher call last minute. We are doing the FUSION ECT Racing League live. 2 minutes to go. We have a start list of over 200 riders. This is a big deal. I think this is a first in Zwift racing. There are big stakes on the line. Lot of rules and regulations. This is the first league to adopt the Zwift racing rules and regulations. All smart trainers, no wheel on trainers, no power-ups, must have heart rate, must have cadence, must be on Zwift power. Winners get slots on the development team for the FUSION ECT. So this is big. There are over, I saw pre-registered, there were close to 40 A riders, over 80 B riders, and I think 50 C's and D's. So this is going to be big. 2 laps of TikTok, flat, but fast. So let's begin. We have 14 seconds until we go. The FUSION ECT team is based out of Denmark, so it's a big Scandinavian presence here today. A lot of heavy hitters. I saw at least 20 riders who have FTPs of above 5. So this is going to be a major throwdown from the beginning. And here we go. We're clicked on some crazy names. I don't even see letters on this name. Okay, let's just go. I see Mads Bang. We can give him a ride on. We know Bang. Seasoned rider. We see him all the time. I see Nielsen. A lot of names. These green triangles are referring to Zwift Academy. It doesn't refer to anything in this race. Like I said, 2 laps of TikTok. It's about 38 kilometers, including the lead-in. So here we go. Someone already off the front at 7.0, 30 seconds into the race, and this is Peterson. So he's holding 500 watts. His heart rate's already 180 beats per minute, and it's only 40 seconds into the race. He has a 1 second gap on the field. Double draft is not on. I see a lot of teams represented here. It looks like, let's see, about 30 riders made it in this front pack. I see a lot of FUSION jerseys. That's this white jersey with ECT on the back. Let me try to click this rider. So you can see the rider that I'm clicked on. That's the FUSION ECT brand new jersey. It looks beautiful. Everyone is tightly bunched together because this is flat. This is fast. I don't expect a lot of breakaways to happen. Each group is starting a minute after each other. So the A's, and then a minute behind are the B pack, and a minute following is the C, and a minute following is the D's. For the A's and the B's, I think the league is going to require some sort of verification, double power testing. So this is a big step in community leagues, right? So the community is putting on such great events, and everyone is ready for the next step in Zwift racing. We're all waiting to see what the next step is going to be. FUSION ECT is ready. Indoor Specialist is ready. All these teams are ready for the next big thing. So we're all eager, ready to go. This is a huge step in the progress towards the community. So the racing scene is there. Everyone's ready to roll. Time for Zwift to get moving. So here we go. The FUSION has 2 different aspects. So there's the ECT, which is the professional team, and then there's the development team, which I believe is 1 step below the esports professional cycling team. So there's 2 different phases in this larger group, and I think the goal is to make the ECT team as a developmental prospect. So it's like you're in the minors and then you get called up to the majors. So the development team is the minors and they get called up to the majors, and I think A's and B's can get slots to get called up into this major league, the ECT team. Okay, so that's a lot. This is the A's. Like I said, they're just crossing over the start line here. This is going to be the finish line. You can see the arch in the top right corner. If I'm an A rider, if I'm in this pack, I'm just thinking about sitting right now. It's so flat. It's so difficult to make a break. Even I see someone going right now, but even so, I don't want to do too much because I'm waiting for 2 crucial junctions coming outside of the desert, which is one uphill, and then coming outside of the underwater, which is the second uphill. So those are the 2 points that I want to be alert. But outside of that, you know, a one-man move at red numbers, even a two-man move, it's going to be hard to stick. If it's 3, 4, 5 riders, then I need to be alert. So here we go. Here's one move. Here's doving from Team X. Okay, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3. So this is a move I need to be alert. If I'm in the back of the pack towards Bang and towards Hansen, this is a bad spot right now. I need to be moving up. I need to be alert because I can see on my mini map it's all strung out and I see a little gap. Even if it's just 1 second, that's enough to break the draft and that's enough to get caught out. So here's Bang and he sees it. That 1 second, you're beyond the 6 meter mark, you're out of the draft, so you're kind of stuck. Here they are, they're strung out, but like I said, still nothing quite there. I see David Rosales is holding final wheel. I don't know if these 3 are going to make it. So here's Hoffman from the development side, Saipan from KRT, and David. I think David knows that this is the moment. You got to close it right now because this is the whole race right in front of him. So David needs to crank out 6, 7. He's got to give it everything he's got or else the race is gone. And I don't know, it's just growing and growing. It was 2, 3, and now it's 4 seconds. So it's just David. Hoffman isn't doing anything. Saipan isn't doing anything. And I think that's the race for these 3 riders. And that's how quickly the race can get away from you. It was just a minute, but you always have to be alert. You always have to be looking at the riders in front of you and at the numbers in front of you. So we'll keep an eye on David, Hoffman, and Saipan and see if they could get on. But I'm trying to see if I can get the other categories of riders. But I can't seem to get anyone outside of the ACAT. Let me see if I can click around. You know, maybe as the race goes further and further on, we might be able to catch some of the other categories. But right now, I'm kind of locked in here. So I think these 3 riders were able to catch back on because the pack slowed down so much. So everyone watching, we're watching the FUSION ECT Racing League. This is the first verified league. You have to be on Zwift Power. You have to have a certified smart trainer. You cannot have a wheel on trainer. You cannot have a power meter, and you have to have heart rate and cadence. So we have to assume all of these riders are legitimate riders. There's no funny business here. Everyone, if I click around, you'll see everyone has cadence, everyone has heart rate. It should be 100% accurate. And this is the rare thing in Zwift racing. So when we sign up for a 3R race, when we sign up for a regular race, there's nothing in our control to prevent anyone with a shoddy power meter from joining, from messing up the race with Zwift Power. But this is a brand new thing where, again, we still can't prevent anyone from entering, but everyone in this race is required to use it. So on the back end, I think a lot of these race organizers will be contacting all of these riders to make sure everything is in check. So it's huge, it's exciting, it's great for the whole sport. I expect this race to be around 50 minutes. Again, it's almost 40K, but it's so flat, and they're going to be going so fast. So right now they're going up a 2% grade, and they're still traveling 26 miles an hour, which is flying up a 2% grade. So you're going to see it's going to end quickly, and the speeds are just going to keep increasing and increasing. So here's Jay Sommerfeld off the front at 7.1 watts per kilogram. A couple red numbers following. They just had an uphill, so I don't know if this is a move. Lace, I'm going to go with, and Rasmussen is on his wheel. So again, 3 riders, they do have a 2-second gap, but they're going to need to work so hard for the next hour, and it's just, I don't expect it. I expect riders to drop off one by one off the back, but I don't expect a move to stick. It's just like real life racing. It's almost impossible for a real life move to make it, whether you have power-ups, whether you don't have power-ups. So a lot of experience is going to play into this race. A lot of the seasoned riders who know what to do, know how to conserve their efforts, those are going to be the ones where the dividends are going to pay off. So I'm still trying to move back, but I can't quite catch the other group. So I think we're going to be locked into this A race. And I already see 2 dots dropping off the back. That's Betteridge. He might just be done. And there's David Rosales, who's just dangling so precariously off the back at 190 beats per minute. He's just giving everything he can to hold on. Simon Nielsen, see him all the time, one of the top ranked Zwift racers on ZwiftPower.com. Give him a ride on. If it's at the end of the race and Simon is still in the pack, he has to be one of the favorites. Absolutely. Just looking at some of the other uniforms. So this blue uniform, let me see. Once we get in the sunlight, it'll be easier to see. But this blue uniform that the Wahoo jersey, Wahooligan, that's the development team. And then the pro guys are in this white ECT jersey. So that's the way you can tell who's who just by looking at the screen. Again, the blue, the Wahoo jerseys are the development side. The ECT team is on the white off-white jersey. So here's Bang on the front, 5.2, which seems like a lot, but I know he can hold this for most of the race. Okay, let's keep clicking back. Again, this is the desert. It's 0% beyond 0%. I did prepare a little bit. Okay, you ready? So I know a lot of these Fusion guys are based out of Denmark. So I did see a joke recently, and the joke was, why do the Danish naval ships have barcodes on them? And that's so when they dock, they can Scandinavian. So that's my joke for the Denmark crew out there. So there you go. Okay, back to the race. We're still bunched up. I think there's I saw a name Kalman, and I think he was the Zwift national champion for Denmark. So this is another heavy hitter. Oh, and his jersey, there you go. So, and I promise I didn't cheat. So his jersey is the Denmark Danish flag. So he is the national champion for Zwift of Denmark. So he's the guy to beat for all the Danish riders out there. Again, a lot of names. Kalman, Simon Nielsen, Mads Bang. All of these guys have raced forever on Zwift. They know how to win. They know what to do. Right now is a moment where they're all conserving. They're all trying to do their best to get the heart rate down, to take deep breaths, to not burn any matches in their legs. So let me click this mini map in the top right. Let me try to give you a little visual. So if you see this roundabout right here where my mouse is, that's your signal for the only uphill for the race. The round right after the roundabout is your only incline in this whole course. All of the 38 kilometers, it's your only incline. So I expect fireworks to come in about 60 to 90 seconds once they get beyond that roundabout. Once they start increasing, you're gonna see red numbers, but until then, I think a lot of these riders prepared. They checked out their competitors and they checked out their course, so they're prepared. They know what's coming. They're just going through this oasis just before they exit the desert. I'm just clicking around. I just want to be on a proper rider before this incline starts. So if you see, we're clicked on Bang. You can see a 6.5 watts per kilogram, and right after that, next to his name where my cursor is, there's a little lightning bolt. That lightning bolt signals they're using a power meter. They have a smart trainer. All of these riders will have a lightning bolt. So here they go. This is a game theory move, the move before the move. So like I said, this roundabout right here is that incline. So a move before the move is just gonna kill everyone. If you still have it in you right now, the move before the move is so difficult because you're still conserving. You know what's coming, but you have to go with this to stay in the pack, even to hang on during the move. So it's a lot of back and forth. You're always thinking, you're always on your toes. Okay, here we go. We're getting to the circle right now, and you can see this desert green grass transition. So they're gonna go uphill just a little bit right here. You're gonna see the incline start to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. But again, it's only gonna last 30 seconds. So if there's gonna be a firework, it's going to be now. Okay, so here it goes. Here's the 1%. It's gonna slowly go up and up, and here's 3%. Okay, Fellows is on the front at 7.5, 7.3, which is okay. No one's gonna break away here. Let me click this mini map. You can see the dots starting to get strung out. but no one is quite falling off this pace. There's no daylight in between the riders. Rosales is still in there comfortably. Oscar Pereira. There's one rider, Arana. Give him a ride on. But there they go. A couple more curves and that's it. And that's the only uphill in this race. So here they go. They're just going to crest it right around this left turn. And you're going to see the numbers then come back down. So there's back to 1%. It's going to come back to 0. I don't know if anyone was able to make anything happen right there. Rosales. Ooh. Oh, 193. This man, his heart rate. He needs 1 or 2 riders to pull through in front of him. And then he can get on that wheel. I think he will be okay. This is McEwen. I wonder if he's going to be alright from Team TFC. We can sort of click the live tab from... This is Robert McEwen. Okay. So Robert McEwen is just in a second pack here with 5 riders, and Oscar Pereira is in the middle. So it looks like the front pack now has 21 riders. 21 riders, 14 minutes into the race. I don't see a heart rate for Shrek, so again, if we're in a normal race, this is littered throughout the race, but 1 rider without heart rate is a huge success and huge leaps and bounds for all of Zwift. And I'm going to call it 20 riders. So I'm going to exclude the non-heart rate. Again, okay, Z Walker, I'm going to exclude all the non-verified riders just from this race because Fusion ECT has put on this league with strict rules and regulations and they won't count. They're going to create it a fair, equal race for everyone with legitimate power, legitimate effort. Okay, again, 19 riders. A little move here by Patsy from the innovation team. 500 watts. They're going to go to a little downhill through this underwater section. Coming out of the underwater is going to be the only other uphill. Remember I said there were 2 crucial points in this race. It was the one that we just hit behind us, and it's going to be the one coming out of this underwater tunnel. The one coming out of this underwater tunnel is about 2 miles, 4K from the finish. So if someone wants to make a long move, if someone has that 5-minute power that they really want to showcase, that they really are using to their advantage, that's the place to use their 5-minute power, and it's possible to stay away. But right now, this is 6 seconds. It's not significant because the gap is artificially inflated because of this downhill. So normally a 5-second gap, everyone will be closing it, but right here at this junction, since they're going so fast, you can see the pack behind them going 31 miles an hour, while Patsy in front is going 29. They're going to catch them quickly. Everyone knows this, and that's the experience playing off for these riders. All right, just clicking around. Still on Nielsen. Again, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, feel free to comment on Facebook. I'm checking the comments for everyone. We're watching this first race in the Fusion ECT Racing League. It's going to go from July 30th to October 1st. It's a big deal. They've adopted all the rules of Zwift racing. So in Zwift racing, you know, everyone is confirmed with their power meter, with their heart rate, with their cadence on a specific trainer, whether it's a kicker, whether it's a Neo, whether it's some other verified trainers. So if you aren't on that, this race won't allow you to be in the results, won't allow you to reap the prizes of the development team for the A's and the B's. So all of these are great improvements for the team. I mean, for Zwift Racing and for the Fusion team. I think this pack might be able to close it. It looks like a lot of these riders are working really hard, holding 6.0, and I think they're going to be able to pull the rest of these riders back, which is great to see. So if we bring back in McEwen, Arana, Oscar Pereira, and David Rosales, I think we're back to our almost 30 riders. So it's going to be great. Again, only one more lap. I expect it to be 50 minutes. This league is going to run every Tuesday. I see a lot of, this is the, it's not the Denmark flag. This is the, not Sweden. I'm not sure. I think, wait, I just knew this. I promise. Norway. Okay, this is the Norway flag. So a lot of Danish, a lot of Norwegians. This is the English flag. Couple English riders, and I see Swedish, Patsy from Sweden. The more you ride Zwift, the more you see these flags, so the more I'm getting my culture, my international prowess for flags around the world. Okay, here are the red numbers. This is the second junction on the lap. Look at these numbers. 11.8. Okay, that's 8.5. All red numbers from all the riders. No real breakaway. If you want to make a move, you have to continue over the top. It's the continuation to keep going. And here's Beanland with a couple red numbers beyond the top of the hill. But no one really wants to do anything. I want to check out some sprint numbers once they all group up together. Let's click back. Oh, I don't think McEwen. I think that's it. I think he's done. Pereira possibly can grab back on, but for a lot of the guys that just got onto the pack right now, they probably used all their matches, all their energy just to get on the pack before that hill, and that hill just absolutely crushed them. So tough one for those guys, but great to last over 20 minutes with such a dominating field with such great riders. One rider's off the front. Let's give it a check. Oh, it's Bang. So Bang can hold this. I think he has the highest FTP for all these riders. I think he has the highest 20 minutes. Okay, so his 20-minute best is 4.9. So just about the highest you'll get in this race. He can hold 4.9 for about 20 minutes, and so can Jay. So Jay is another rider on Zwift Power who has the highest 20-minute power. So these two riders, if they can somehow work together, but Bang isn't going to be able to do this alone. He needs someone else to go. It's probably not going to be a Fusion rider. He needs a non-Fusion teammate to bridge this gap. I don't think that's going to happen. So let me quickly look at these sprint numbers. So Stu J, who we saw in second wheel, has a 15-second sprint of 18.0, which is far and away the best in this entire field. After him is Hansen and Simon Nielsen. So Jay, if Jay can hold this pack, and again, I'm assuming all these riders will be verified, etc., etc. Jay has an 18.0 sprint, which is almost unheard of. You rarely see that. So he's going to be a difficult one to beat. And there goes Patsy. So Patsy's going to try to bridge it to Bang. And everyone's following it because two guys away, it's 100% greater than one guy away, I think. I don't know. But Patsy, he's going to close it, but it's just a matter of if he brings the pack with him when he closes it. And it looks like he is, but there is daylight in front of Sommerfeld and the 10 in front of them. Yep, and that's a problem. So I think Malo, and a couple of the other riders recognize that. If one person isn't able to hold the wheel, it creates a big problem for the riders behind. So I'm just clicking back quickly to see if I can see. Still can't see any of the other. So one of the settings on Zwift is you might not be able to see people not in your category. So that's probably one of the settings on this race. They're just gonna finish about one lap, I would say, in 22 minutes. So if they cross the lap banner at about 24 minutes, another 22 minutes will be 46-minute total race. So a 46-minute race for 38 Ks is super fast. Once they whittled down the field, it's been a lot of these solid guys together. There hasn't been much movement around this. Around these 19 riders, I think was our count. So these 19 are the ones that are going to probably be in here until the end. Let's look at some heart rate. Here's Peterson at 178, 177. Jansen 167. Nora 166. Patsy again with some red numbers. He has a low heart rate at 146 and 147, but again, nominal or whatever it's called it's not a major problem. But it seems like they really want to make a move. Patsy and Bang really want something to happen. But the more people they have with them, the easier it's going to be to trade pulls. It's kind of like a team time trial effort. If you do the team time trial, you can practice these sorts of things. Positioning is some of the most difficult stuff to master on Zwift. So riding in front of a rider, pulling while the rider behind you recovers is so hard. Like right now, Bang is at 4.4 and Patsy is at higher numbers behind him, which is not what you want to do. You want to be 1 watt per kilogram or higher in front of the rider while the rider behind you recovers. You have to work together, and it's so difficult to master that technique, especially in Zwift racing. But right now, this is what they need to do. You can see Patsy in the front at 5.4, Bang at 3.5 holding the wheel. Now that's perfect technique. So if they can do this for 30 seconds and then switch, and Patsy can sort of get a recovery behind them, and that's what's happening right now. So Bang is moving to the front and Patsy is behind them about one. Patsy needs to recover on that wheel. So they're working together perfectly, switching first and second position, switching poles. But they just need 1 or 2 more riders to make it work. They're holding right around 6 seconds. The good thing is that there's a Fusion rider in the front, which means the Fusion ECT and the Fusion development team are likely not going to pull at all in the front. That's why you see guys like Arana on the front at 3.4. There are so many Fusion guys slowing down this pace. It could succeed. It really could succeed. But these guys in the front have to hold 4 to 5. I want to stay on the front. We're seeing a lot of the non-Fusion riders like Jay, Sommerfeld, Rasmussen. Anyone in a non-Wahoo or in a non-ECT jersey is on the front pulling these 2 riders back. So this is team technique at its finest. I mean, this is the beauty of Zwift. This is where the team tactics can come into play. Because of the numbers of the Fusion team outnumber so many of the other riders, it's so difficult for them to get organized. You see this so much in the Tour de France and stuff like that, that these teams, they get organized and they start reeling in the chase groups. But if there's no one to get organized, if there's no one to do the reeling, these 2 riders can stay away. I mean, it's still there. It's okay. And there's Doving from Team X. He's the wild card. He's the X factor from Team X. So guys like Fellows have to hold that wheel. Guys like Arana, Stu J, they have to hold that wheel. Even if I'm Kalman, I'm not quite. He's in a perfect position. He's just far enough ahead, but he's not doing the actual chasing. He's just holding the wheel and following the riders in front of him who are chasing. So there's Doving. He's going to bridge the gap. Is he going to have anything left at 170 beats per minute? Okay, so Doving and Hansen, they were able to make it. Is this break still a break? There's Kalman at 13.0 at 800 watts just to close the gap, and he does it easily. It looked like absolutely no effort from him. And I think that brought together everyone again. So again, everyone was together, but I mean, we saw a glimpse of what could happen. So if you get a Fusion, if you get a couple Fusion guys in the front with maybe 1 or 2 non-Fusion guys, there are so many of these riders that no one will pull them back. So if you can get Fusion with the Team X rider with someone else, and there's Mads again, he wants to make a breakaway happen so bad, probably because he doesn't have that 18.0 sprint that we saw in the field. So there's Mads. Again, you're going to see the ECT team drop off drastically with their watts, and this is exactly what we're seeing. Here's Nielsen at 100 watts. Here's any of these riders, Jansen. So they're communicating perfectly. They must be talking to each other. You can communicate on Discord. You can communicate via any sort of chat. If you see a rider from your team, you have to call out, he's up there. Everyone immediately lets off the gas. So that's what you saw. You saw Mads go up, and then everyone else instantly dropped off their watts, and the pack slows down while he's able to stay ahead. So now the move is, what do we do? What do we do to get Bang to stay away? Do we send one of our guys? Do we just slow the pack down so he can solo to the finish line? Is this just to soften the legs of some of the other sprinters? There are so many different plays here. There are so many different levels to do. But this is a big move. There's a lot of different options, and there's Doving again on the front, charging at 400 watts, pulling the entire group back single-handedly, and we've seen it time and time again with Doving, is he's the one to take the charge. His heart rate is climbing. It's slowly getting higher and higher, 161 beats per minute. He has some daylight. He needs a guy like Jay or a guy like another Fusion rider who has that 20-minute power to stay away. So Doving probably has that 6-meter gap. Let's check that rear view. And I think Jay, so he might be out of the draft, but I wonder if they want him to go and bridge that gap to give Bang another person to pull, to break away. But I don't see that big burst of energy from Doving to break away from the pack, to surge ahead. And I think he sees this move as not a real move, probably going to get reeled back in just naturally, just from the race. And I think that's what's going to happen. So again, we're watching the first race of the Fusion ECT Racing League. All official rules. So all the Zwift e-racing rules have been adopted. No power-ups, no Zwift power, no wheel on trainers, no elite turbo trainers, must have heart rate, must have cadence. All of the rules have been adopted. Everyone has to be on zwiftpower.com. The best A and A plus riders can be nominated for the development team, and the best B riders can be in the development team. So a lot of great information, big progress for this race, big progress for Zwift racing. I wish I could see some of the other categories, but I'm locked into the A's. I'm clicking back. Maybe I can catch some of the other ones, but I just can't for some reason. So it looks like Mads was reeled back in. Still that same 20 riders in here. We see a lot of team tactics. It's rare to see these team tactics succeed in Zwift racing because teams have to be so cohesive. We see a lot of team tactics with the indoor specialist guys, with the Fusion guys. It's rare to see a lot of these high-level teams work so well together and mesh so well together. But once we see it, like we're seeing it today, it's absolutely a beautiful thing to see. To see a rider kind of finesse their avatar ahead, slightly in front of another rider, breakaways, non-breakaways, teamwork. It's big progress. So I have a feeling I know who it's going to be. It's another Fusion rider, and they just keep sending guys just to soften up everyone's legs. This one might not stick, the next one might not stick, but one of these might stick, and that's the risk that these riders are taking. So they must have a plan in place to either soften up the legs, make some sort of breakaway work. And there's Doving again on the front, and he's just single-handedly powerhousing this race. I want to see his some of his heart rate numbers. So it looks like he maxes out at a mid 170. Anything in the 160s is probably difficult for him. Approaching 170 is at that brinks, but he will max out around 175. And I'm just getting a feel for that because I want to know how hard he's going. We've seen him on the front this entire race. And if I'm him right now, I'm getting in the back. I don't need to close any gaps. I don't need to make a break happen. I'm just getting in the back. I'm trying to recover. I have a feeling he's on the front because he always needs to stay alert. Because he knows at any moment, any one of these Fusion professionals or the Profusion development guys will break away from the pack, and he wants to be in that breakaway. But it has to be the right breakaway. It has to be the right guy. I've seen a lot of these names are sitting in the back, sitting comfortably. You know, whether they're trying to recover, whether they're saving something for the sprint. Fellows 149 heart rate, very low. Prize 165. There's two Nielsen's. Simon Nielsen 147, that's low. And C Nielsen 157. So I've been saying a lot of the names in the front, but there are a lot of guys in the back who are kind of saving their ammo, conserving for the end, because the end is coming and it's coming quickly. We only have about 10 to 12 minutes left in this race. And right now is that moment. You see the roundabout on my mini map in the top right. Again, after that roundabout, after that circle, is the one uphill. Only 30 seconds, very short, but it's one of those moments that you need to be aware of, and the breakaway could stick. So watch an early move, watch someone to continue it over the top. If the Fusion team is trying to establish a breakaway, this will be the point. It's one of the last points to be able to do that, because after that, everyone in the pack will be on alert for the sprint, for the final finish. Okay, just looking at any moment, Calman from the Fusion team, he can clearly win any race under any circumstances. This is a flat race. There's no flatter field than this. This is TikTok. It's almost no elevation. You can see on my screen, 200 feet in elevation, over 35 minutes. It's flat as a pancake. It's fast. They're averaging almost 30 miles an hour, which is flying. It's going to begin right now. It's going to start to creep up the inclines. It's going to go 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Let's keep an eye out. You can see all the numbers go from 5 to 6. Oh, this is my man Joe Leaf. What's up, Joe Leaf? This is my boy. We see him every week. He was a regular at the Team Celebration Series. Okay, uphill. Here we go. Here's the red numbers. Here's Fellows, which we saw him hiding in the back. Here he is in the front. 7.5, 8.0. Calman, 9.0. He's right there. Perfect position. Let me zoom in. A couple off the back, but still looks very tight up front. Calman still at 500 watts, but he's staying perfectly in that draft. He's not in front. He refuses to get the front wheel and break the wind, and he's just looking perfect in his position right around third wheel. So let's look. Here's Nielsen. They're trying to make something happen. A lot of Fusion riders on the front, but the bunch is just so primed and ready. I don't see, there's Preeds. Nothing. So that was the one of two moments where I was kind of holding my breath, waiting for something to happen. Maybe one rider, Rasmussen, he's gonna need to wait for this downhill and then make a charge up into the underwater. But it looks like Arana, no heart rate, so we're gonna disregard that because this race has strict rules. Rasmussen, the gap is just growing and growing and growing. Now we have 14 riders. I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It looks like more than 14. So about 18 riders. Okay, so 18 riders left. 18 riders, 9 minutes left. 5-ish miles to go, or let's do the conversion, 12-ish kilometers to go. A lot of the names, give Batila a ride on, Gimri a ride on, Calman a ride on, giving all these guys a ride on. Big shout out, the first of a 10-week series. Courses are varied throughout everything. So I think they're going to be hilly courses. There's going to be flat courses, everything. I did see the full results, the full information come out. I'm just seeing if I can check the full schedule. I can't see the full schedule at the moment. But this is all about the future of Zwift racing for the community. Real prizes at stake, slots for real teams, development teams. Just watching a downhill. If I'm a rider, if I'm in this pack, I'm thinking about recovering, getting my heart rate as low as possible, because that 5-minute mark is coming where it could mean my maximum 5-minute power. It could mean anything. We're always recovering in the pack because you never know what's going to happen. You always have to be prepared for someone to break away, for the pack to suddenly go so much faster. So when your heart rate is low, when you're feeling good, you're prepared. And you always have to be prepared. That's the bottom line. I have a feeling all the Fusion guys are talking to each other in their microphones. Heavy breathing. Who's going to be the guy to make the move? Who's going to be the guy to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the team? Or is it going to be a free-for-all? It's so hard to chance it. If I'm Fusion, it's so hard to chance it in the sprint, because the sprint, even though some riders are more powerful than others, it's still going to be a crapshoot at the end of the day, because it is Zwift racing. You can't control positioning, you can't control timing, all of these things. So I see Nielsen off the front, 6.0. Is this a test or is this the real thing? We see Jay on the front, and we see no Fusion riders in sight, and that's exactly what's happening. So we see Nielsen at just about 6.0, and you see Noor on the front, and he just dropped it immediately to 2.0, so he's going to slow everyone down. And these are the sort of expert tactics you can do. You can get in the front, and you can immediately drop your watts and slow down the pack and sticky draft everyone behind you. And I think they're testing out some of these really, really high level things to prepare for the next level of Zwift racing for what's to come. And this is a big gap. So this is 11 seconds. And there are some uphills to create some time gaps from Nielsen to the rest of the pack. There's Jay at 3.5. That's not going to do it. He's just going to gain more and more time. There's Patsy at 4.8. Still, he has to produce more than Nielsen to close this gap. There's Gimri. Again, none of the Fusion guys are even close. There's Mads Bang at 1.9, I just saw quickly. But these guys are finely tuned and know exactly where to be in order to make this breakaway stick. It's so difficult with one guy. He's holding 400 watts. He's giving it everything he's got. This is the second uphill. This is the moment that I said you have to be alert, but I don't even see the pack behind him. I can see it just now in the distance, but there's Doving. If anyone's going to close it, it's Doving. So I would bet my money that Fusion holds Doving's wheel no matter what. So there's Doving. Is he going to be able to close it? Most likely he is. But they got to stay on his wheel. Don't get in front of him. Don't even peek your avatar in front of him. And that's what you see. You see Fusion at 95 watts. There's Kalman. All these guys are still backing down, and I think Nielsen still has 7 seconds while Doving's heart rate is 168, and we were saying earlier he maxes out at a mid 170, so he's getting up there into his zone 5. And it's not that he's letting it go, it's that he has nothing left. He needs guys like Patsy from Innovation, Belida, Sommerfeld, these non-Fusion guys to chase him down. 6 seconds, 4.2. Nielsen is dying. I'm gasping. He's trying to crank out that 400 watts. Just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Keep watching. I'm interested to see Klaus Nielsen. His 20-minute best is 4.5. His heart rate is just about max. It's 5 seconds. It's likely going to close, but he just can't give up in that off chance that this gap closes. So again, we're watching the first race of the Fusion ECT League. This is the A race. Oh, and there goes Jensen. So he's going to try to make a clean break. But if Doving is able to hold that wheel, but he's able to do it. So he breaks away clean from the pack, and that's what you have to do so no one stays in your draft. So he breaks away clean. He's going to bridge the gap to Klaus Nielsen. Is he going to pull through? Klaus is going to try to grab that wheel, but he's got nothing left. He's done for. But Jensen doesn't even continue it. He goes back down to 2.0. They have to be setting something up. I don't even know what's happening, but he wouldn't just close the gap to his own teammate for no reason. Something is going on, because I know these are expert racing tactics, and it's just like, we usually see moves made, yada yada, but that move was made for a purpose, and I need to know what that purpose was. So here's Hansen at 11.0 off the front. Gimri is not going to hold that wheel. He's going to be let go. Beanland at 5.2. I don't know. Yes, he's in the draft. And is Doving going to be able to do it? No, Doving is just getting beaten up back and forth constantly. So he's been the man to close everything today. And now the ECT team is loose. So we have Simon Nielsen in the front. We have Hansen on the front. We have Bang on the front. All of the ECT, all the Fusion team is losing the rest of the field. So here's Hansen again. Another 3-second gap, and look at that heart rate. Oh my god, 198 beats. So close. All these guys, I think they're just sacrificing themselves and just picking up the pace and loosening the legs for their sprinters, because they probably know no matter what they do, it's going to come down to a sprint finish. It's probably guys like Simon Nielsen. It's going to be guys like our Denmark, our Danish national champion. But it's just beautiful to see this team tactics. Okay, and there's Jay. Now, Jay is the one to look out for. Jay is the strongest man on paper in this race. He's the only non-Fusion rider. He has the fastest sprint. We're about 2 minutes out from the finish line. They have to hold this wheel. They have the whole Fusion team to hold that wheel, but they're not doing it, and I wonder why. They need some of these Fusion guys to go chase that, because he's going to be able to hold 7.7 for a minute at least. So there's Bang at 8.1. It's high. It's going to be so close. Mads has to bring his other sprinters with him. So there's Nielsen. Here's Kalman. Here's the national champion. He's just out of the draft. He's got to get in that draft because Mads is doing the work for him. So Mads Bang is likely doing the work for Simon Nielsen, for Kalman. He's closing the gap to Jay, and that's good. That's what you want to see, because Jay is the one with the sprint of the 18.0 watts per kilogram. And now this whole race is just blown apart. Mads is just so close. You can see Jay is probably gassed at 2.3. They need to go by him. They need to go directly past him. Do not stop, go. Do not stop. And there he is. Is Jay going to hold that wheel? It's going to be tight. 4 riders now in this front pack. We're just about 30 seconds from the finish line, and here starts the beginning sprint. It's Nielsen, but he's so far out. He's really far out. This is about 40 seconds. Once you see this dotted line on the pavement, that's 30 seconds. So right now it's 30 seconds. Can he hold 10.0 for 30 seconds? Kalman's not going to close because he's also on the Fusion team. It has to be Jay or it has to be Patsy to close it. But I think it's going to be Simon Nielsen who's just going to run away with this race. And I think that's what they were setting this up for the whole time. Simon Nielsen is going to take the first Fusion ECT Racing League victory for the A's. I think Jay will be, I don't know, but big shout out Simon Nielsen. He's going to take the W. Beautiful team tactics. Who's going to be second? I think it's going to be Beanland, followed by Jay, followed by Kalman or Malo. I'm not quite sure, but absolutely awesome to see a full race of verified riders. Everyone had power meters, everyone had cadence, everyone had heart rate. Awesome thing to see. I wish I could click some of the other categories, but you could see my the right side of my screen is kind of locked in. But I think we might keep broadcasting this, so show up to the Fusion ECT League. We'll give you a shout out next week. I almost guarantee we'll be able to figure out the different categories. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Had a great time. I'll see you guys next time.